Hello, good day everybody. CoKo here with some Let's Play Wingspan. It's been a few days since I did any streaming, and I might not be able to get back to another game for a bit, so thought I'd just take the opportunity to use some downtime or in-between time for a little Wingspan. While I have some relaxation coffee. I was thinking of maybe completing Mist, but if I finish it on a stream, which wouldn't take long, I'd probably have to continue to do the age that was added, which means actual puzzle solving with the brain. And no, I don't want to use brain right now. I say that as I play Wingspan, but it's more like, you know, using your brain to think through things that you don't know are different than thinking through things you already know. Like I can semi-mindlessly play through Wingspan strategy, even if it does involve thinking. It's like, you know, it's like a solitaire, you know, something just comforting because you already know the mechanics. So let's go through it. So eggs in the prairie, that's an easy one to do. And then sets of eggs in the third round, also pretty easy. So if we want to do this type of nest, platform nest I think it is. I forget the nest names. But we got the symbol there. Oh wow. So we got some synergies here. By luck. How many of them do we got? A couple, but they're like the beefy ones. I think the synergy might be worth it though. Birds with body parts. Does Dick Sissel count? Don't clip that. Alright. Let's just go for the synergy. Keep it all simple. These all go nicely together. Should be fairly straightforward. Just gotta, you know, do things in the right order. Alright, so let's get a couple. The one where you may cash it on this card is nice because in the early game you can take it and use it to place another bird, and then towards the end of the game you can start cashing for points, for victory points. So let's take that one. All of these require a lot of food, so for starter birds it's not great, but it's okay. If we get one bird in forest, we might place in the first round. The AI is not like great at targeting bonuses. Alright, so the next one just depends on which of these bonuses I'll like. Fewest birds one requires a bit of strategy within itself. You kind of got to use it to get a bunch of cards before you start placing more birds in the wetlands, which is good, but in the very first round there might not even be any birds in another player's wetlands, so I might not actually be able to get the benefit for a bit. And discarding eggs to get food is a reasonable choice because sometimes you get extra food through other players' bird bonuses or whatnot, or you can't get exactly what you want from the feeder. Actually, this is a different one. This isn't a trade one. This is just trade food for food. This is a trade egg for food. And yeah, again, it's not bad in the early game to have that. So what we want to do... Unfortunately, none of the birds that I really want to play use a grain, because then I could play this bird first and then use it to get additional food faster. So that's not working in our favor. But yeah, I could take one of these, but in the long run, I don't think it's as worth it. Alright, so let's just do this for now. Even if we only trade one egg for food in the early rounds, it's still something. So let's try and get the forest one placed as quickly. Might as well use this as our wild card just in case we want to switch it up. And we'll grab a mouse to be partway towards that one. Alright, we already picked this, so let's go. So we got pretty lucky in that there is grain available for us. So let's go for it. So it's tempting to just grab the fish now, because you can't guarantee that you'll have access to what you need on a future turn. It's tempting to just grab it, but I would also need grub anyway if I wanted to do both birds. So I'm probably gonna have to do 2 rounds of food. So I might as well just place this first, and then, you know, if I get lucky with the extra wheat, I can get it for future use.
Clark's Nutcracker. These birds are omnivorous, but cache thousands of pine seeds for the winter.
Alright, so what I think I'm gonna do is grab the fish, and then grab the fish, use this thing to take the grain, and just hold it for a future bird. And then next turn, assuming these cherries get cleared, these berries get cleared, or then I can clear it. There we go. So we'll see if this lasts to my round. Alright, that worked out as perfectly as can be, because we got our bird bonus for a grain each turn while getting what we wanted for placement of this bird. They did take a while in the first round to... Oh, even this is nice too. An extra grub, I think, will be the most general purpose food. We could take a quick look to see what's in what birds are in there. They all require grub, so this is probably useful. I didn't mean to click that. What was I saying? Yeah, this first round has been a lot of just collecting food, but that was gonna happen because both of our starter birds had a high food cost. So that was just an inevitable thing. Alright, let's place this bad boy.
Black-crowned night heron. Night herons eat carrion and eggs in addition to fish, rodents, and invertebrates.
So if we wanted to go for... I think one bird in forest might not win us the round. Let's take a quick look. But it'll at least get points. Yeah, this guy's got 2. 1. So we'll tie for second. That's like 1 point or something. Forget how that works. So I think we might not try and over-optimize for the first round bonus and just go for our bonus and future rounds. So unfortunately none of the birds here have what we want, but we need a turn to lay eggs anyway in order to use them for these things. So let's do that now, and let's prepare for one there and one there. Even though we're probably going to use these eggs, it's good to distribute them according to your needs when you place them, because you never know what could happen. Alright, what do we... Same birds this round. Yeah, I don't really want any of these birds. Like, I can get something just for the utility of the ability, like drawing 2 cards to just get extra birds when I do cards. That's probably the best use right now. And if I wanted to gamble with an egg on a second bird from the deck, I could. But what I might do is use the ability to get the grub. Alright, let's take this bird, and let's just take 1 right now. I always forget that this ability requires the egg to come from another bird. And let's get the grub that we need for this one and save the one we have for another bird. It's like almost guaranteed that we're going to need one because it's the most common food requirement, it seems. Sweet. And Sin, yeah, we don't know what we want out of our next food. Okay, I might just take another one. Alright, let's play this guy. Use that.
Common yellowthroat. This was one of the first American birds to be cataloged by Linnaeus in 1766.
So now we're hoping for... Yeah, I thought we might do a 3-way tie, in which case none of us got points, but still, it's not a big deal. There was no way I was getting a second forest bird given what was down here, unless I got like lucky and all that. But what I wanted to be prepared for was to draw right away after the birds in the face-up birds changed. So we can get the crow, which is a good one for us. Which gives us the same ability, oddly enough. So what we'll probably want to do is put this in the prairie, grasslands, whatever it's called. Alright, so let's grab that one, and I don't really want either of these. Even though this bull bird... Let's just gamble. Yeah, this is a good gamble. Alright, we get to draw 2, and let's take that one and a gamble. Alright, so... maybe keep this one to move it into the prairie in the last round and have extra source of eggs. Here's another bird we like. I'm going to leave it here and just kind of hope nobody grabs it. Because we already got 2 of this type of bird. And if I were to take it, I'd want to be able to use my egg ability. So first, let's get something placed to help us lay some eggs. Alright, so... let's see, where do we want to put these things? I am going to draw eggs soon, so if I put this here, I can get some food while drawing eggs, which is a good idea. But this is the wrong nest type for this round. I have 6 turns though, so I'm not in a huge rush. But I could also draw eggs and then use an egg for this. I'm gonna have to draw eggs twice if I want to do it that way. And yeah, this one, probably don't place it now. I don't have any eggs right now. So if I place this, draw eggs, and then send this to another spot, and then place one of these birds. This way I can place this, I can get a free placement, basically. That's what I'm trying to do, is save an egg overall. I have enough turns to place at least 2 birds, so let's do this. Let's place this here.
White-crowned sparrow. These sparrows like shrubby areas in many habitats, from tundra to desert.
So here we're going to do a lot of trading, which is kind of funny, because we're going to generate an extra egg with a food, and then discard that egg for a food. That seems kind of silly, right? But if we do this one, then we won't be discarding an extra egg. I am going to have 3. So I need 3 eggs at the end of this. And I'm going to use... so I might want to place this one instead of the crow. No, that in order to get 3 of those, I need the crow. Alright, so I'll be placing the crow, which means that discarding an egg in order to get the food for it seems pointless. So let's use this to get those in place. And then I might want to be ready to draw more cards before I do food. Nice. What's in here? Right. Maybe we can try and opportunistically grab a fish. Beautiful. Ah, we lost that bird. I was about to take it on this round too. So it goes though. So it goes. Well, let's just use that fish then, because I don't know if we're gonna need
These
it.
intelligent birds steal eggs and food from other birds and cache food for later.
Nice. Any extra food is useful. Okay, so now we have to use eggs for birds. Alright, that one's got an egg. And we need 2 more. Oh, that one's got an egg too. So we need 1 more. If we place this, we'll need 2 more.
Anna's hummingbird. These birds' impressive mating displays involve diving from over 100 feet in the air.
We have another turn, but if we just want to get random food stuff, then we could probably just, yeah, play here. Yeah, I don't want to use that right now. We also might get lucky and a bird shows up here that we want. Okay, that didn't happen, but let's just take some stuff. You know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to take the 2 odd ones and then pick first. Wait, there's 4 things here. I can take 3 and then get the 4th this way. Yeah. Wait, no. Everybody goes. Ooh, that's a very interesting dynamic. Everybody's going to get a chance to go before my next ability. That makes it almost impossible for me to control. Even if I, like, go last or whatever, because who knows what's going to be... Oh, no. I've never put these 2 abilities next to each other like that. Okay, then what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go first and take one of these, and then just hope I get lucky and there's one remaining at the end. It's probably gonna get taken. It got taken. Well, that was interesting. Alright, let's see if 3 was enough. It was. Hello there, happy Tuesday. And chill sessions are the best sessions. Alright, so new round, and we didn't get any birds that we wanted in this deck, in the face-up pile. So let's see what we can do with what we got here. Alright, let's grab some cards. Let's gamble on the first one. Hey, look at that. We got something we kind of like. But that's like a... That's a complicated gamble, because it means we gotta be ready to play another bird too. Now, actually speaking, this ability is optional. You're not obligated to play another bird. It just means that if you don't play another bird, you're kind of like not using the value of the card to its fullest extent. So you're sacrificing what could have been a more powerful ability for something that you don't even use. But in my case, where I just want to get birds with this nest type, it might not be the worst. All right, let's gamble again. Not excellent, but not awful. All right, what we could do is grab this one so we can place it with this. All right, move this to get some food we're gonna need. Draw two more. Nothing terribly useful there. Alright, so let's discard an egg to get what we need. So we need 2 fish and a mouse. And then we need a grub and a mouse. So we need 2 mice, 2 fish, and a grub. So what's in the bird feeder right now is mice, but that might not last. But being optimistic and hoping it might, let's take a fish now. Let's get rid of that bird. Sweet. So we needed 2 mice. Let's take 1. And we got the 2 fish. And we got the grub. So let's just prepare for the subsequent bird, which I guess will be the 9-point value bird. Grab a grub. Now we do this thing. Alright, we're gonna play these into... Let's put this here. Do I have enough eggs? I don't. So I'm gonna need to generate eggs immediately. Ooh. Maybe I play this first, and then generate eggs. In which case, let's move this there. Okay, so there's 4 players. It's going to be empty by the end. So we just may or may not get lucky with our thing. So I'm just going to go last. Yeah, as it is now. Sweet. Awesome. I'm going to take a grub and let myself get another wheat. I'll take it because I don't think I'm done placing birds yet. I do have an extra one of these though. Might be time to start caching. What kind of birds are down here? Let's just take it for now. I guess I'll take a cherry. Now, you know what? Another grub.
American woodcock. The woodcock's amazing mating display involves repeated dives from 300 feet.
There's a lot of potential birds to place here. Alright, I think we're going to substitute this star bird for the other one we were considering playing into, yeah, this one. So that means we need a fish or grub for that, which we can do. Now we have one grub left. So then on the last round, we can try and play this bird, which needs a mouse, which we'll have. Good. And what about the star bird? That'll need a fish and a wild card, which we should have. And that would take us to, I think, the top level, 6+ birds. Yeah, I would. So we need an extra fish in order to do this. And we have one more turn to lay eggs. And we can lay 4 eggs. We can compensate for the one we lost. So yeah, let's trade an egg for a fish. Then we don't have to get food at all in the last round. And let's discard one of these useless birds. Yeah, no way we're playing that one. Okay, we are set. Alright, we're gonna need all 3 fish. We're gonna need... Let's trade a wheat. We're not gonna use those, I think. Alright, we need sets. So we got 1, 1, 1. Now let's do 2, 2, 2. I think I'm going to move you into the forest, because I'm not going to play anything there right away. Even if I do, it doesn't matter. I don't need to really move you around. Actually, you know what? I might play this one at some point. No, I'm going to play it into the grasslands, though. So it doesn't matter. I'm not going to use this ability. Alright, that's okay. Tied for second. It's not bad. Now it's time to lay down a lot of birds. Let's start with you. Out of the hand and into the bush.
Mississippi kite. These birds mostly eat large insects, but they'll also eat rodents, bats, and birds.
There was a really bad horror movie a while back called The Ginger Dead Man, about like a gingerbread man, gingerbread man cookie that came to life and killed people. And the tagline of the movie was, "Out of the pan and into your heart." And I always remember that because it's hilarious. It's an absolutely atrocious movie, too. But I think it's like, there's a lot of charm to the character, but I think they didn't have enough money to like pay Gary Busey to really be there and like voice a lot of dialogue. Yeah, so he's like... That's the hook to the movie. That's probably what allowed them to get the money to make it, is that they got a semi-big star to be in it so they could put, his name on the cover and everything. But they probably didn't have enough money to pay him to like really be involved in the production. So he spends almost the entire movie just like grunting. Like he doesn't have that much involvement. And it's a shame, because that's the whole thing should be, the fun gingerbread man character. And it's like all filmed in one location, like the kitchen of like some office or whatever, like an office building in the alley outside. The entire movie is filmed in those scenes. It's clearly like, as low budget as it gets. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had one day to get recording done. Like, there's no way they had any more time with him than a couple hours. All right. Let's get back to birds. So let's place these birds.
Great egret. Smaller birds will sometimes follow after great egrets as they stir up prey. Black tern. These terns build floating nests out of marsh plants.
Okay, we got 6 birds. Doesn't really benefit us to play this. The only thing I might It'd be too many turns to like move the other bird here and whatnot. So I think what I'm going to do is just churn out some eggs. But I don't have that many slots here. Huh. I'm just going to skip this ability because I don't need the food and I don't want anyone else to have it. And then I'll just cache this. There's a point. That's something. Okay, now I have more slots for eggs. Oh yeah, right. This thing's got to stay here. Oh, that was a miscalculation. Oops. I did that wrong. I need you to come back. I can't back up far enough before it took this turn either. Oh no. Okay, well, this is a goof that compounds because I can't lay any more eggs here without this bird here, and I can't move this bird here and have a turn left. So what's another way for me to get as many points as possible on my last turn? I guess playing a bird. Or just generating eggs and not putting it towards the round bonus. Okay, fine. See, that's what happens when you're thinking about Gary Busey instead of playing the game. Mess up. Alright, I'll just generate eggs. Lay eggs, I should say. No, it's... no worries. It's no biggie. This ain't exactly, you know, the SATs. It shouldn't require, you know, all that concentration. Darn. I would have gotten the round bonus too, because the top player only got a few more eggs than me. Oh well. Hey, we played a lot of high-value birds. He closed the gap with the round bonuses, though. We might not have won anyway, but it would have been closer if we had gotten that round bonus instead of him. Because he would have gotten, like, I don't know. Yeah, he probably still would have won. He would have gotten, like, 3-4 points instead of 7, and we would have gotten 7 instead of 3 or 4 or whatever we got. So that's like a 6-point swing. So it would have been very close, but we probably would have still lost. So no biggie. All right, so that's a fun round of Wingspan. And now the question, as always, is do we switch it up? I ran out of coffee, though. Tragic. The coffee is telling me to go to the bathroom, because that's what coffee does. And it does it well. Yeah, but I can load up something to follow this. So certain things like civilization, I wouldn't want to advance my progress unless like I started the stream, so that I can like put it in the right playlist. So it's probably something that's just like episodic in nature. Yeah, something like Dwarf Romantic or a different one. Yeah. Actually, you know what? What I'll do is I'll load it up and then I'll go try and find some more juice. Alright, let's quit Wingspan. Let's load up. Let's show off this little game here. I bet you could hear that loading screen sound effects. It's very ASMR. I think that's the sound effect used too for the within the game, so you'll hear it more. Alright, my camera is a little bit funky positioned there. That's fine there. Just leave it. So, this is just like a casual like building game. I don't even think it has points or goals or anything. Yeah, boo work, definitely. Alright, I'll be right back as well. Okay, and we're back. So this game here is known as Townscaper. And so as far as I know, there isn't any goal. Just build a town. And the mechanics are dirt simple. So let me just kind of like demo them on the side. So you can pick the color of the tile you're constructing, but it doesn't always matter. So just like the first one is creating the pillar going out of the water. So that's like level 1. And so once you have one, then you have choices of where to put the next one. You can place it coming out of the bottom next to it or coming out of the side of it. So if we built this one more up, now we got a little house. And if we said built on the side of it, then it extends it from the side, and then it just does what it needs to do to make it look reasonable. So because we didn't actually build anything under it, it creates these like posts to stand on. So you can create stuff that, you know, is kind of fantastical almost, that like probably wouldn't work. Like something like this. It's not unreasonable, it's just a little goofy. But if you ever wanted to fill it in, you can like go underneath and be like, all right, let's extend this down here. And it kind of does the intelligent thing of like examining adjacent tiles and connecting things where it's supposed to be connected. So this came out of the ground, I think. Oops. So it already connected it to the ground with the pillar, so we didn't need to do that click. And then if you like mix up the colors, you could do stuff like this. So if it's two like colors, it creates like a homogeneous look a lot of the times, depending on orientation too. But you can start to get differentiation. You know, kind of make it look like two different houses that different families might live in. So I had started making a little town, and naturally, due to the nature of this, the toolkit you get, it kind of resembles like a Venice type of town by its very nature of being watery, and you're going to end up building like canals, most likely, unless you really want to just create a, you know, giant cement base for your city. But water is awesome, so why wouldn't you want to have water? So I'm just kind of like growing it organically in little sessions. And I like the way it's been shaping up so far. You can invent like a little story of like, you know, people who occupy these houses and, you know, what path they take to get in and out, and where you go for your evening stroll. So I kind of want like a nice, you know, like visually interesting layout that's like somewhat dense but has these little pockets. Like we'll keep this water, at least for now, different heights, and depending on how we go, like how big this gets. Like this is kind of cool, is like for like a center of town kind of thing. So I think the last thing I did, which was a long time ago when I like popped this open just to spend some time clicking, was to create these external pathways as my next expansion. So I can start working on them and making them how I like. And it's kind of like painting, where it's like you do stuff, maybe you undo it, but you just kind of try and roll with your choices. All right, let's do this wider open area first. We got two existing features from the old previous work. So how do we want to lay this down? I kind of want to fill in this, because I don't have really a section that's like totally filled in. That might be an interesting angle to give this area. So it doesn't really matter what color for the first layer, so let's just fill it in. Maybe we leave like one pathway for the water to flow through. No, it's got plenty on these sides. It doesn't need it. Maybe it does. No, it's kind of hard to leave one open. Okay, so now we've got a filled in area. Looks pretty dope. Maybe we actually want to take advantage of the fact that there's like a square to walk in, and like maybe we make housing on the side of it. Maybe along the water connected to it and like over the top of it, but still leave a big part of the square open for like town hall gatherings. Yeah, that's a good idea. In fact, I kind of want to connect this, leave a little more room for this to handle the crowd. I'm going to even make it a little bigger on the outside. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll have houses on both sides, starting with one layer on the edge. So I'll worry about color in a second. I just want to get the houses in position. Something like that. And then on this side, what we'll do is do them here. Yeah, we could have them, even have them like... that looks kind of weird. Yeah, something like this on the inside so there can be more room for the water. Yeah, this is kind of dope. It's kind of like, you know, one side of the house is resting on like the concrete area and another side over water. That's not bad. You know, that's relatively safe. Okay, that's really cool. I like that side. And in fact, let's have it go here. Maybe we like support a couple small portions of it. Like maybe here. There we go. And here? No. Here. That one's even got a little door going down to the water. Cute. Okay, that's cool. Now the next thing to think about is I want this to create like a overhang. So we will do that. Let's make some choices about color too. Now color can come last, I think, or at least like part way through the process. This feels like it needs a thing. Alright, that's pretty good. So there's always a tendency to like fill in gaps in this game. Like I left open that bigger water portion, but I knew I was gonna like, you know, make some stuff in there. Okay, so before we continue in this space, what about the surrounding territory? How might that look? Like the pathway leading up to it. I kind of want maybe to have like a little thing reaching inward. And then this could maybe stay as is. Maybe with like something, we'll do something with these two later. But what I kind of want here is like Alright, we'll start with that for now. Okay. We'll start connecting the second levels at some point. Alright, so this is gonna... We need like a couple layers, so let's just build just like another layer with some gaps. I'm sure these stilts that we built the house on are going to do great when this is like 4 or 5 stories high. Absolutely no problem. It'd be kind of amusing if you could like press a button in the game to like apply physics and just see your city collapse. Alright. So I don't want the whole square to be covered. You know, you still want to have the sun coming in. But let's start connecting things up on the 3rd level. So let's say we got this, and then it starts coming out. So we might need like a centerpiece in the middle for everything to connect to. Because these stilts are going to get in the way anyway. So we'll see how that looks once we create some. Alright. Alright, let's have this come out of here. Right, I forgot about that. If you connect things on top, it creates like a deck. Which is, yeah, I have a lot of those already. They're quite nice to have. I should try and make more of them. I made a little one here. Let's see what we can do. We'll do something like that. So, there we go. Oops. Whoops. No, I don't want it to go on this side. I want it to go on the other side. Alright, something like this is kind of neat. You got open area for like a little market, and stuff will be above you, but you still got enough room for light to come through. And a balcony, so people can go up to the 2nd level and like look down on all the happenings in the market. The advantage of like doing color while you're going through, of course it's easier, but also you get a naturally like organic look to it, just by virtue of the randomness of how you apply color to the buildings. Maybe we can connect this and create like a little balcony there. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And let's do one more thing. We can create an even higher level in the middle. Sweet. Yeah, there's still a good amount of room in here. All right, let's do some colors. Let's get some white. Let's do... All right, let's get some of this green. All right, well, I've made it hard to adjust. That's the tricky bit. Probably like real world Venice and type cities like that. You know, once you build these things, it's hard to mutate them because they're so fragile. Okay, I like that. Wait, what? What did I just do? There's like a little gap here. Why is that there? Okay. That's good. Perfect. All right, let's switch to purple, like you were saying. Let's do purple up here. One half can be purple. Yeah, a little like opening to sweep stuff into the water. It's not a bad idea. And let's do purple up top. Okay, that whole layer can be purple. And let's do one more color. Let's do a yellow. Nice. Very nice. And one more. Let's take an orange. There's still blue on this one on this side. Let's make the whole thing orange. Whoops, I accidentally deleted that. That was this color. There we go. Sweet. And let's also use the orange up here. And we could use it for this house. And we'll change those when we work on them. All right, I think this area is done. So let's see what we got here. You come up from the walking path into a very large square. That's partially covered, but not immediately, like two stories up and then 4 stories up. So there's plenty of room for air to move. And the square is lined with houses whose doors are along the square, so there could be like shops inside too, in addition to in the open market. And then those shops have second stories, where maybe one of them is like a coffee shop that has like a second story where you can go sit out on the balcony and look down over the square. It's even got binocular thing. And then there's some upper level housing, so the shop owners can live, in or near their shops. Also a little room for some balconies up here. This one over here might be like a private balcony. But even if it's not a balcony, their windows still have nice views. We want to keep some visibility. Like if we make everything too dense close together, then people look out throughout their windows and don't see anything interesting. So we want to have like some space and like weird gaps between all these buildings so that people's windows get light and also look out and see some interesting stuff. I like this part here where these two come together with different colors. They're like two independent stores or whatever, houses, whatever they're going to be. Okay. Alright, so that area is all done. So now let's do something with this little orange thing. First question is, how tall is it going to be and what's it going to do? You know what it could do? What if I did this? Let's use a different color for here. I don't want to go through and correct afterwards with the colors. It worked out nicely. Like, it's beautiful the way the colors are dispersed in this section. But I don't need to be that like precise with it. I'm just gonna choose colors along the way and just like remove some of that tedium from the process. All right, let's start off with the brown. And let's build you a little bit higher up. And then let's go back to orange and create a third level here. No, too tall. Let's see if we can make these connect. Boom. So you can see, like, when you choose different colors, when buildings come together, they tend to pick that they remain, separate entities. Which in this case kind of works. So I'm happy with that. But then this one on the edge could be taller. There we go. That looks so cool. Alright, we filled in this side of our original expansion, and now we only got this side, which I had laid out last time, the pathway, and these two houses can be a part of. You know, I tend to not want to like undo stuff that I had done before too much because, you know, it's kind of more fun to just build and see how it organically develops. So I don't want to mess around with these individual houses. Like, I put them that way because I like them that way. I don't want to mess with them. But these two houses I made this time, so I can do whatever I want. Okay, how do we want to use this? So we got the market over here, and we got this big ass tower. The tower seems like it would be a pretty important feature. So we don't want to like get in its way with height too much. Kind of like 2 stories-ish right around it. All right, let's have a little housing near the market. Let's choose like a light blue. Did I just click on something? Yeah, I broke this path. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to create little blocks, like, because a lot of my buildings tend to be like 1 to 2 layers thick, which definitely works. But there's no reason why you couldn't have like a 4x4 house. But again, like, considering that if it's just one big block, then the inside blocks won't be getting access to light. So you kind of want some like light wells or something. So they end up not being too much, like too large of a blocky area. That works out, I think, on multiple dimensions. All right, I like this little block of housing. All right, so let's see. Right around the town square, or this centerpiece, maybe we'll have like some administrative stuff. Clean white color. Maybe it'll be set back. Okay. This will be like administrative stuff. We can get a little bit taller on the other side. Let's do some red. Maybe the path should continue this way. Nice. Okay, that's good for that. This path will continue this way, so now we just got this little portion here to do something with. I didn't think about where this path was going to continue, but actually we have some good opportunities over here to extend a walkway. Yeah, me too. It's just pleasing. It's almost like, you know, it's an archway leading into like the center part of the town. Yeah, when they do the laundry hanging, that makes it feel real. That's the same color. Let's use... Nice. We got like a kind of shared balcony space idea. Like if we go by the colors, meaning like individual family homes or something, this can belong to the people who live in here, but there's a shared balcony with these other houses, which is kind of neat. But let's give a ground floor to someone else. Top floor too. See, the only trouble with this top floor is I don't think they have any way of accessing that top floor. There we go. All right, are you yellow? No, dirty yellow? There we go. Perfect. There we go. Okay, I think that's all I want for that. Nothing too tall to get in the way of that view. It's almost like a city like Seattle, where you got the Space Needle, and they don't want anything to be too tall, too close to the Space Needle to obscure line of sight to it from, you know, around the city. That's kind of like what this will be. All right, so we do have a little bit of room here. Could potentially create a pathway. Maybe that's an idea, actually. All right, so this can be something that continues into something. So we got this. Maybe you have something wrap around the other side of the market by connecting like these two somehow. And then over here, these corners can be pathways that continue, something like that, and they can grow into something. And then on this side, plenty of opportunity to expand, so this can grow in future concentric circles of development. but it looks pretty cool. That's a town I would live in. Alright, that's fun. I think that's probably a good stopping point. Yeah, it's reasonable. So I'll call it here, and then next time when I get the stream, I'll probably do either Baldur's Gate or maybe Myst. So look out for that. But yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for joining and participating and deriving some chill vibes and entertainment from it. I look forward to continuing it. So take care. See you later in the week.